It's not going to be allowed in Florida classrooms. Spending tax dollars to teach kids that America is a rotten place is absolutely unacceptable. We'll be standing up against his failed policies at the border, his failed policy. You know, he said he was going to end COVID. He hasn't done that. We are the first state to start the treatment centers for monoclonal antibodies, having great success with that. That should have been a bigger plan, bigger part of this whole response throughout the country from the beginning. But at the end of the day, I think he's trying to find a way to distract from the failures of his presidency. And so he thinks that he can attack Florida. Sometimes he attacks Texas because we're Republican states.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says he will look more significantly at a fetal heartbeat abortion ban after the Supreme Court declined to block a similar law in Texas. What they did in Texas is interesting, and I haven't really been able to look at enough about it, DeSantis told reporters. They've basically done this through private right of action, so it's a little bit different than how a lot of these debates have gone, so we will have to look. I'm going to look more significantly at it, he continued. The Texas law, which went into effect Wednesday, effectively bans almost all abortions once a fetal heartbeat is detected, which is often 6 weeks after a woman becomes pregnant, and of course, most of the time women have no clue that they're pregnant at this point. While there is an exception for medical emergencies, it does not allow an exception for women who become pregnant as a result of rape or incest. The law also contains a provision making it legal for a private person to sue anyone who is suspected of performing or aiding an abortion in the violation of the law. So let's talk about how Governor Ron DeSantis is both the prince and the direction of the Republican Party. He's the second most popular politician in the GOP, and much of that is owed to his ability to perfectly respond to Republican voters. I mean, he became the governor of Florida by attaching himself to Donald Trump's brand. His arbitrary moves against Florida school districts in the middle of record high cases that are continuing to climb and not improve whatsoever. And now his consideration to follow in the footsteps of Texas on abortion are really all just to bolster his own clout and career. It's not as if this man doesn't have the info and the tools at his direct disposal, and it's also not as if he's not fully aware of all the enemies he's making in the process. However, the voting base is what gives him power, and power is what he's in the game for.
Now, Orlando officials are urging residents to reduce their water consumption amid efforts to divert liquid oxygen used for cleaning, I should say, the water supply to hospitals for COVID-19 patients. As of Friday, the state reported a little more than 150,000 confirmed cases, surpassing 3 million confirmed coronavirus cases in that state alone. Now, remember, we're talking about Florida, where Governor Ron DeSantis has banned mask mandates, essentially going against anyone trying to do anything responsible during this pandemic.
The Supreme Court denied an emergency request from abortion providers to block the ruling Wednesday in a 5-4 ruling, with the majority coming from the court's conservative justice. Chief Justice John Roberts joined the court's liberal justices to dissent. Earlier on Thursday, Florida Senate President Wilton Simpson said state lawmakers were ready to introduce a similar measure, saying the High Court's decision gave them the go-ahead to replicate the law. When the Supreme Court goes out and makes a decision like this, it clearly is going to send a signal to all the states that are interested in banning abortions on making it more restrictive to have an abortion in their state. It's certainly going to make us take a look at those, Simpson said. Ron DeSantis is set and primed to have a very long and very successful career within the Republican Party. He easily can win a seat in the House or Senate, and the presidency isn't out of his grasp whatsoever. Wishing him away won't work. So as always, I'll end this video with a call to action. Get up and get out to the polls.